Welcome to Healing Whole, the podcast. I'm your host, Callie. I'm a health and wellness expert, a certified personal trainer, and holistic health coach. I also happen to be extremely passionate about holistic healing. With over 13 years of experience, I've worked with clients from all walks of life. I also know a healing and holistic lifestyle can be a little overwhelming. I'm here to break it down for you and take you on my journey to healing whole. Remember, the materials and content within this podcast are intended as general information only and are not to be considered a substitute for medical advice or treatment. Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of Healing Whole, the podcast. This is our second season, episode 6. I'm here with Lindsey Kahneman.
Hi.
And she is a local yoga teacher in the Southwest Florida area and teaches locally in Cape Coral at Thrive Yoga and Wellness. So if you're in the Florida area, definitely check her out. She runs a public relations business as well here in the Fort Myers, Florida area and is passionate about spreading love. So we're going to get into a lot of things today. But first, I want to ask, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm a little worried because we have a guy blowing air outside, leaves and things like that. So hopefully it doesn't interfere. If you hear that, we apologize in advance, but we're just going to get into it. So I always ask the same question to start with, and it is, how did you get into this holistic healing way of living?
Oh, well, I think some people, it starts with, I'll just show my age. It started in college in the 90s. I took a class and really liked it. Went on and off the mat many years and then was in a really bad car accident. Went through physical therapy, came out of that and was like, this can't be just it for my body. So knew that that's when I needed to really dive in to teacher training, because I was like, I got to give it back to this community and heal myself. So it started out from a cause to an effect, I guess. Is that weird?
No, I feel like it happens a lot because people are looking for something else and they're not finding it in modern medicine and Western medicine. Not that that's not a great way to an alternative, but this is a great alternative as well.
Yeah.
And I find that everybody I interview, that's usually the start, is they were looking for an answer to a problem, basically.
Yes. I think that when I started as a student, I was in college and it was an elective. So it kind of was chosen, but wasn't chosen. So I didn't take it really seriously. Although that teacher had a great impact on me. We might sidebar that on another day, but I do think you're right. You kind of fall into it in different ways, but sometimes it's intentional healing.
Yes. So you've been doing yoga instructing for many years.
Oh yeah, probably. What is it? 4 or 5 now.
Okay. Yeah. What drew you to yoga specifically?
Well, I have a background in gymnastics and cheerleading.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
My daughter loves gymnastics and cheerleading. We have to get her into classes.
Yes. Yeah. It's fun. I mean, it really kills the spine. So I do think that when it comes to stored trauma in the hips and being a child gymnast, hitting a bar over and over repeatedly catches up to you in time. But if I was doing yoga, maybe then as a child, it would have changed who I am as an adult today. All children with meditation, but I think it started from being an athlete, kind of going that way. And I was like, hey, this might be something I could do. But it took a long time before I figured out, when you really chill out and get the mind and body and the movement into one, you unlock a whole nother door.
Yeah.
So it took a while for that to
unleash. Yeah. Cool. I had a question, and for some reason it's mom brain. I still have mom brain.
No, I'm a rabbit hole
6 years.
Thinker,
so that's why I have my notebook here, because I usually write down when I have a question. But
okay.
The question was, what kind of yoga do you teach? A certain kind of yoga, or do you just practice different types of yoga?
Okay, so that's a very good point. So I take and teach, I take a lot of different types because I feel like you're ever the student, even though you're certified as a teacher. So why not learn and study all art forms? But I got my training in Hatha yoga, which hatha yoga is the first from the Vedas. So it's very breath by body movement. It's the sun and the moon. It's very much like that. It's not like a holding practice like yin. It's not a fast flowing practice like vinyasa. It's very even keel.
So is it like maybe in between?
Yeah, chick. I think, Callie, that's exactly a good way to see it for a person starting out. I think that it's very approachable to everybody. Where vinyasa, that fast flow isn't great for especially a hyper person like myself.
Yeah.
It's just like feeds into like, but getting a person like me to go to a restorative class at a hatha studio will really, like I said, unlock that part that yoga is offering.
Okay. And maybe for some people, yin is too slow.
Yeah, because if we'll talk about Ayurveda and the doshas, that kapha dosha, that person that's really operates by the mountain. Yeah, they're yin. They're like, woohoo, let me lay around here.
Yeah.
Same with restorative. I'm like, no, you go to the vinyasa class. You should be the one flowing, kiddo. Very much. Yeah. Or better yet, get them in the hot yoga. They better come because that one's going to stoke their fire. And the kapha dosha, man, those mountain people need that stoking fire so they can be creative.
So you're into Ayurvedic medicine?
Yeah, also. I took another 100 hours in education in that. When I first heard about it during yoga teacher training, I was like, holy explicitive. Yes, this is amazing.
Explicitive on here, I don't know.
Okay, then all of the explicitives, it was interesting. And I mean, it was also it made me stutter on my words because I was like, wow. Also as a Christian, I was like, wow, whoa. So I had to really take things with a grain of salt. But it was another teacher that helped me with that.
Okay.
A lot of teachers helped me with that.
Yeah.
With understanding that, with being okay with understanding that.
I don't even know if you can do this, but can you explain at least that there are 3 bodies in Ayurvedic, right? 3, or I don't know if you call them body doshas. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Can you just maybe touch on that just a little bit, or is that too much?
No. I mean, I think there is an easy way to explain Ayurveda, that it is a sister science to yoga, that it's actually one of the first ways that we as humans kind of took care of the body before the whole doctors, here in the West were around. So Ayurveda takes in the elements. You got, and then there's the 3 doshas. So when a person's born, you got the Prakriti and the Vikriti. It's the one that they're with when they're born, that is who they are, and then the one of where they resonate today, like where I am here at 44. The 3 are you got the kapha dosha, like we were already talking about. That's the mountain that's really there with the water. You also have the pitta dosha, which is fire and water. And then you got the vata dosha, which is air and ether, the ethos. We talk about the cosmos, the cosmic stuff. Yeah. So if I was to explain, we did explain the kapha dosha. That person is very mountain, the homebody that stays at home. Mm-hmm. They got the dope vinyl collection. They don't want to leave. Yeah. But then you got the pitta dosha like me, that's all fire. It's like, yo, hey, I found this club. Let's go dancing. Let's go have some fun tonight. Yeah. They're moving off of fire. They've got it going. The ether, the air, the vata dosha, if you can tether them to a calendar, like to even going out on Friday, they probably have already a lot going on because they're moving around. They're air, they're floating. So you got to kind of pull that one in.
Okay.
So the each have something to offer. The pitta being one with fire, they're going to be the learners. They're going to be the ones that got the books. They're going after the wisdom. They may not keep it in their head, like the mountain, that is the kapha dosha. But if that pitta is tridoshic, if they're balanced, because their mind, their body, their soul is balanced, and they can lean into that kapha dosha and they can get settled. That's why I'm like, hey, pitta, go take that restorative class.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or hey, kapha dosha, maybe you should go take a moving class because you've got some creative work to do in your business.
Okay. Oh, I love that you just said that.
You got it, sister. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And they can be You can have
Well,
two doshas?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I think I'm back to pitta.
Yeah. No. I mean, let's take the test before we judge
But
because
I did take a test and I'm pretty sure that's what it told me,
So
but
when-
that was a long time
when
ago and I
you,
could be
yeah,
off.
definitely not a Vata. I'll show you a Vata. I'll show you a Vata Kapha. I really look at you. And like I said, take the test.
I'll have to take it again.
But
It's
look
so
at you
long
gotta
ago.
look at yourself when you were like, I don't know, 6 through 9 years old.
Yeah.
Like look at like where you were playing, where you're running, you like just at joy, and at joy.
Okay.
And look at that child's body type, their teeth. See, if you look at myself and you have high cheekbones, I have almond eyes, I'm very piercing. That's pitta pitta.
Okay.
My body type is very muscular. Like it's very muscular.
Yeah.
But am I tall? Am I lanky? Am I blonde hair? Am I blue eyes? That's Vata. That's air. That's ether.
That's definitely not me.
You're Kapha with Pitta.
Maybe it's Kapha.
You've got the round eyes. You've got the square face. My husband, my daughter, you guys are Kapha Pitta all day. You look at me with your deep brown, your piercing. So Pitta is also, I hate to say, I won't even say the words from my face. A president we used to have not too long ago.
Oh.
He's very Pitta. Like look at his red hair and skin and fire.
Yeah.
And charging personality. Yeah. That's Pitta with Vata.
Okay.
That's Pitta and Vata mixing, pushing together.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, I'll take the test again, but I trust that you would know what I am on.
Yeah. So let me explain to you. Like, look at a gentleman, like a brilliant mind, like Deepak Chopra.
Yeah.
You see him, great test to take. If you want to take an Ayurveda test, take his. I think it's brilliant. Other than Dr. Lott and Dr. Frawley, which is where my education came through, great teachers of the Himalayan Institute, and those are my lineages.
I looked into that institute.
Do more than looking.
I looked into it.
Just jump, just like put your pesos to the side and do it. Because you'll never make money in yoga, but you'll make love abounding. So Deepak, when you look at him, you see his curly hair, you see very much the kapha, the curls. You can see the pitta, the brown, the oliveness in him. But then you look at him right now in his older years, and you can see that vata, the dryness, the aging, the whitening starting to happen. You can see that because even though you have these doshas, they're also that are in the timelines of your life. So you're only kapha dosha up from like a certain age, which is 0 to about 18. Then you get into your pitta years, 18 to 55, when you're hitting fire. And then think about the woman at 55, menopausing, drying up. She's going into her vata years. She's drying.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Ayurvedic is like, I feel like you could talk about Ayurvedic medicine for days.
Yeah, Queen. Oh, yeah.
Because
Sidebar.
There's so much to it. And it's so intensely interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting.
Now, I will have individuals that, they're like, how can you be a Christian and like Ayurveda? They're like, I don't get that because before I would do Ayurveda on somebody, I will say the Mahamrityunjaya mantra. And it is because it is a mantra that was my teachers when we started learning. We said it before, and it's what you say before you practice with somebody. So that is something very beautiful that I will not break from the lineage of learning. Like I just won't do that. Now, do I feel like my heart is with Christ in that moment? Absolutely, yes. Okay. Because before I go to a place or put in a place in my mind, I draw in Lord Jesus, because that is my thread to God. Others might be Lord Ganesh. And I read the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads and studied the Buddhist philosophy. And I'll talk to you all day about that. Because in order to be not really a spiritual sheep in any sort of religion, but in the denomination that I choose, I feel that like you should really get to know it all, because you're doing yourself a disjustice. As a student of yoga, because even though I have a certification, I am a teacher, I'm a student of yoga.
Always.
Always, yes. I will always be also, a child of God, and I will make sure that I'm letting that be known. So I will be like, Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sukam Timbrishtivarataram Uruva Rukumi Babantanam Mitrio Mokshya Mahamdratat. And I'll say that. But I will say, the Lord's Prayer to myself before, so I'm very authentic, because before even doing Reiki on anybody, I call in the angels that heal and help and God chose for me in my life, and the guardians of my life, the ones that I communicate to, the individuals like Mir, a person who's very special to me. I allow her into the shadows of my brain to see about my mind. And some people even think channeling can be unchristian like. And I'm like, what do you think a prayer is? What do you think being still is? So just because I choose to, at a time say a prayer that resonates with me, and others say a mantra, to each their own,
Did it take you a while to get comfortable with that?
Oh
or did
my
it happen
gosh.
right away?
No. Wow. It took many Wayne Dyer books later.
Yeah.
Yeah, many Louise Hayes, lots of different brilliant minds, a lot of Carl Jung, Marcus Aurelius meditations. I mean, The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. I just dove my mind beyond the Upanishads, beyond. I mean, I was grateful for these books. They're presenting me yoga teacher training, but I was like, you got a degree, girl, and you studied Elizabeth Browning. You studied great poets. Like heaven is on earth, and it is very real.
Yeah.
And if you can say it's transcendental meditation, or if you can say it's the love of Christ, then just say it aloud, because the yogis that walk through the doors breathe it all.
That's what I think is so important in any kind of healing journey, is that it's different for everybody.
Yeah, I had fear locked in me. I had fear. That's what, to answer your question, for the longest time, and I was like 25 pounds heavier, like not even 3 years ago. And I went on, and this is what really blew my mind, was I got into walking. And like yoga, it can be very rhythmic and meditative. Yes. And being an ADHD person, it was another form of meditation for me. But I studied the leaves, I studied the sounds, I studied the currents of the waters that I was walking next to. And then that's where I giggled one day when I was like, Christ went on a long walk. The Buddha went on a long walk before he was Bodhisattva. You are going on your long walk, Lindsey. Like, be cool with it, chick, and cry with it. And, be grateful the day your AirPods aren't working, because you're supposed to listen to the sounds even harder that day.
Yeah, that is beautiful. I love that so much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you had that connection.
Yeah, but it took a lot. Like, I told you it was a car wreck.
Yeah.
But that car wreck was a bus wreck. A bus hit me on my son's birthday, November 3rd, his golden birthday, the day he was turning 3. And I remember like what I heard right before it happened, and the people that I passed, and then those people, because they're firefighters, and they went to our preschool, and then them helping me, all of it. It was like soft and slow-mo. And then that's when I realized that my angels were not like what the movies and all this shit was being shown. And I was like, you are so close to God. It took a bus hitting you to realize it. Yeah. But what was gobsmacked about the whole thing was I had to go through 3 years of a court case in dealing with that, because it was a Lee County bus that hit me. So that's why I was like, wow. I'm going to be a yoga teacher and heal as many people in this county and teach meditation and volunteer where I can. And within not even 3 years from that bus wreck, I was at that fire station with a table presenting yoga.
Oh my God, full circle. I love that.
Yeah, dude. Like,
And that's so forgiving on your part.
yeah, but it's like a year and a half ago, my house got hit by a hurricane.
Yeah.
I can sit and be like explicit, or I can be like, yo, there's a covenant. I saw a rainbow. You're always going to be in the flood. You're always going to be a waist deep somewhere in some problem, in something. So your outlet is yoga because you know what? It's working for you right now. You can do it anywhere and everywhere. And who cares if your Southern friends from the Bible Belt of Tennessee where you grew up don't like it and they think you've done lost Jesus Christ. And they're like, holy shit, Linz. And you're like, no, kiddo. I'm probably thicker as a thief with God than you ever are.
Yeah.
But whatever, mustard seed. You don't know my mountain and I don't know the roots. You don't know my deepest.
Exactly. And everybody's journey can be different. And my journey is completely different than your journey.
Well, I want to know your journey.
What part of it? I call, as far as beliefs go, I interchangeably use the words God, universe, spirit, angels. I definitely believe there is a higher power. I don't personally believe that it's
like the source,
a big man in the sky looking down and judging us.
Yeah, I don't see as a big man either. I think God is an energy.
Yes,
energy.
100%.
God is an energy.
Yes, and
that's what like. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go. Tell me. What are you saying? Go.
It's something that Wayne Dyer said. That resonated, how everybody's got a piece of the divine, a piece of God
100%.
in them.
100%.
In them. And when you know that you've got a piece of God in you, it's like, how could you ever destroy that?
And that's absolutely what I believe, is that God is the good in all of us.
Oh,
God beautiful. Is a good in all of us, and we all have it. And I really genuinely, I don't know.
But do you also feel like that God is the dark in you? Like that, or do you feel like that is like Lucian, and that's.
Do you think, are you asking like if I believe that the dark is the devil?
Well, yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't know.
Well, the dark or the dark in you, because that's a different subject.
Okay.
Like I'm not talking about our shadows, like in our subconscious or any of that. Like dark energies, let me put it there. Do you feel like that is necessarily an entity or a devil, or like a dark angel?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
We never know anything until we get to the other side.
Because I have been in situations where, and like, I'll just be really open and honest right now. I used to struggle with substance abuse. And I remember having an amazing workshop this one time. I never believed in the devil before. And I don't even know if I do now. I really don't know. But I never believed in the devil before until I had this really amazing workshop. And I was like, not really drinking at the time or messing with anything else. And I was so excited afterwards. I was like, I have to go celebrate. I have to celebrate. I have to do something to embody how amazing this feels. And I thought there was a little guy on this shoulder or woman, and there was a little guy or woman on this shoulder. And I was like, okay, let's go for a walk or a run or something. Let's go to the bar and get fucked up. What did I do? I'm driving there and I'm like, motherfucker, do I believe? Is that? I hear it. I hear it telling me, come on, let's go do this. Let's go do this. Let's go do this. And I still don't know what it is, but I definitely believe that there was something in me that was telling me to do the wrong thing that I knew was the wrong thing. And I still went with doing the wrong thing. And that was the first time that I ever entertained the idea of a dark entity.
Oh.
At all. Any period, any point. And I don't know if it's was just a piece of my mind that maybe made me revert back to old behaviors and patterns.
A fragment. I mean, so here's the thing. Like, I do believe that in our blood, like in yoga, we talk about samskara, which is like, if you're looking at the wheel, what keeps you out of the center, out of the Tao, or out of the center, if you're going to get into that philosophy too. But it's the lineage that could get passed down from another blood. That blood is in you. Okay. So you might be trying to overcome something that was, or as the past livers believe, like is something that has shown up. Like if you have anxiety or if you have depression or if you have this, some people believe because, maybe in a past life, that's what you experienced. Like I had somebody tell me because I've got, thyroid issues and a huge birthmark that I was hung and burned a fire because from my Welsh background that I was a witch in a past life. And they knew a lot about me. She even told me like the area where I was born and how the lineages of there and that area and what's the importance of that. Kind of a reason why I got into herbs and started studying that. But I will say, friend, that if you really get into like Carl Jung and you're talking about the subconscious and shadows, and or if you even talk to individuals who get into hypnosis and removing those shadows or facing them, because all those things all of them are fear.
100%.
Which what fear is the opposite of love.
Absolutely.
Which is fear is the devil's tool. Love is the God's tool. God's tool to create more things. Love creates this.
Yes.
We have a love for wellness. It created this. Yes. Love creates children.
Creates so much beauty.
It creates those beautiful plants.
Yes.
But fear is what's the dark. So in those days, I guarantee you, there was something else in either your love or your home or your work that was off that you didn't want to face. So you were avoiding. And your fear was the first thing, that first shadow that was the easiest one to pop up.
Absolutely was.
So that's why some people are alcoholics, like, I can't be in my house. I can't be in my house, or my hands need to be busy if I'm in my house. Yes. So for a person like myself that like, it was at the time very much into codependency and was facing marital issues and being a mom and having an amazing career, then going without an amazing career for a long time because I dove into motherhood, like all these dichotomies that change a human can really take you away from your Tao, away from your center, the center of the spoke, because what holds the wheel together? It's not the spokes, it's the center.
Yes. And
what is in that center? An empty pot. That pot is my next point I'm getting to. Like, God believes that the man is human, is created of clay, which is dust. But what is in that vessel? What is it? It's empty in the center until you fill it with something.
And what do you fill yours with?
Love.
Yes.
And yes. I feel that is like it. That is it.
Yeah.
So for me, it was going out and exploring, like walking. It was cheap. It was free. I couldn't spend money. I was like, don't fucking spend a dime.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. And then I was like, how can I make money like at home as a mom and not sell oils anymore? And and do something that is really authentic to me, but creative, because that was missing in me. I'm a Leo Sag rising. So I'm like, I need creative and spirituality.
Yeah.
So it took getting hit by a bus, I guess. I don't know.
I was going to say this earlier.
Because how else was I going to choke up $3,000?
Yeah. I was going to say this earlier that and this is something I live by, make your mess your message. Like
That's really cool. You should coin that.
I think I heard it from someone.
Okay, well then you should quote them now, because I always feel like if you know it, you quote it.
I can't remember who I heard it from. It might have been Robin.
Do I make my message? I wouldn't say like that. I say that everything's a requiem for a dream if you approve it the right way. You just gotta like I was saying about with the hurricane in the house, like it's not a mess, it's a witnessing.
Like everything happens for a reason?
Yeah, because I might have like the other day I told the yoga students, like, you can have a handful of mustard seeds and you can lay them down. You can sow them all in the same row. Doesn't mean they're going to grow the same. Your intention was great. You watered it great. The sun arose the same, but no, did it? It was at an angle for different seeds. It was at a different angle. Maybe you had more water coming out of the bucket at the beginning of the row or the less of the row or wherever. Everything's changing. So you don't have a grip on it. And you try to have a grip on it. Yeah. And that's why you thought you had things on your shoulders talking to you, because you were trying to be in control.
Oh, I'm always like that.
Instead of just pulling over, closing your eyes and putting your head back, and you're like, I'm just going to pull over and take a nap right here.
And trust.
And if a cop knocks on my window, I'm going to say, hey, I'm a recovering alcoholic and I almost decided to drive to a bar. But instead, I'm sitting right here listening to a podcast. Or better yet, you don't say shit and you just shut up, because that's the problem. I think I was a kid that always felt the need to explain myself.
Me too.
I grew up with a parent that worked in the government and could witness lying a mile away. And so I was very
that's tough.
afraid and held back a lot. And so I didn't share enough. So I think that like, when you hold back somebody that is very close to the sun, it's like I was just melting wings.
I like that's a good way to put it. Like a good visual.
Yeah, I was like Icarus. I was just too close.
Yeah.
I had to back off. But it took like, in my 40s before I learned like, yo, if you get a little too close, you're starting to melt a little.
Yeah.
But I didn't cage myself. I still flew. I'm still flying.
So you're talking about being a Leo, right?
Yeah.
In regard, that's okay. That's why I thought.
Yeah, I am one of those crazy Christians that actually do believe
in astrology.
Yeah, in the power of the number 12 and all the things.
I believe in a little bit of everything. I think though the reason I don't necessarily just use the word God, I do use the word God, but I'm still trying to figure out what my God is, and I think that's why I interchange.
Why do you say my God? Well, I don't understand that.
Why do I say my God? What God is? I could just say God.
Why do you say what God is? Like, why do you need an answer?
I don't know, because I'm a control freak.
No, it's a pitterness. We feel like we have to know so we can move to the next bit of knowledge.
Yes.
But what if I just told you that God is in the letters on this page? That is energy. God is energy. God is so innately beautiful. Like this moment was predestined, baby. That's like the book of Jeremiah. Like whoever's listening to this is gonna hear something, and there's one point in this that was already pinpointed for them on their timeline to listen to that and know that.
Yeah, I do believe that.
To me, that's God.
Yeah,
God is in the moments.
I'm just definitely a control freak, and I need to learn to trust more.
Absolutely,
I trust to a certain extent, and then that controlness
or the first generation coming out of the age of Aquarian, which were the people that really like to enjoy controlling. Or the indigo children that are rising up. And we're just shining these beautiful lights, and people are like a little afraid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't use the term woke because I don't call it that at all. I just say that I'm an individual that likes to listen and love every heart.
Yeah.
By default, sometimes it gets me and doesn't, and sometimes I get taken advantage of, and sometimes others do too. It's just the way the world spins on its axis.
Yeah.
But I honestly believe that God of energy very much knew before I was created, that chose that my energy, what it would be like, that chose the parents for me, that chose where I'd be born, how the sun and the moon would be. Like, it's so freaking fascinating when you find the time, the date, the place you're born, and the illumination of the sun and the moon. It, like, when you discover that, and then where the body of water was or where mountains were, you're like, oh.
Have you done that?
Yes, queen.
Where do you do that at?
Well, I mean, you can use a cool app called CoStar. There's others, but if you can find, like, I have a cousin that's really good at doing birth charts. So she did a birth chart for me. She even did one for my child when she was born, and it was so to the queuing that every now and then I'll pull it out and be like, gobsmacked, like, holy bloody shit, this is crazy. Yeah. And I'm like, wow. Yeah. But I think if you can find somebody that can legit do a real good birth chart, you'll get something deeper than any app can ever tell you. I mean, the everyday app's gonna line up to the planets, suns, and moon, stars, and give you something. There's cute ones like Luminary Parenting that help for us mamas. Yeah. But it's like the beauty of Ayurveda. When you know your dosha, your Prakriti and your Vikriti and how you're dealing in the day. It's like you could read like Leo's month, here it goes, or watch the tarot people on YouTube. Nothing prepares you for the moment than you just gotta kind of know that it's that Tao, that ebb, that flow, that you have no control, but you can listen. You can listen to it. You can hear it. Don't judge it. Yeah. Non-attachment. Yeah. So there were things about, like, I'll dive into that, about the Buddhist philosophy that I thought was just fascinating. And then the more I leaned into it, I was like, I really like listening to Eckhart Tolle, because he'll say shit about Buddha and then Christ and then a beautiful quote.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And it's kind of how I teach, which doesn't come across well to some studios, They're like, you should be in Sanskrit. This isn't authentic. You're just a fitness-based yoga teacher. This is a spiritual workout. This is not our vision, whatever. But when I was going, and it was my own intuition leading, and the angels and the guides and all of it, the classes became so beautiful.
Yeah.
And students resonate with it, because I'm not dropping Sanskrit all the time. If they want to look at Sanskrits and Bible verses and quotes, go to Good with Yoga. Go to my Instagram page.
Yeah.
But in a class, I'm at a studio. I'm going to respect what their theme is, and I'm going to find a way to teach it where it's authentic to who I am.
I love that. That's like such a message.
So I'm going to find a sutra. I'm going to find a Bible verse. I'm going to find a cool quote or a book, because I'm a reader. So, and people ask me, like, what are you reading lately? I'm like, yo, I'll bring it. It's in my car. What am I reading? At my house, what am I reading? I read all over town.
Oh,
what
do
am
you
I
do Audible
to?
books too?
Girl, my badges.
Oh, yeah.
D, I've been an Audible subscriber for probably like 5 years now.
Oh, wow. I just started in the last year. And
I love it. It's insane. I've got that's my dirty habit. But is it? It's not. I have a degree in public relations, double minor marketing, and psychology. So it's like, I will always be bringing in the knowledge.
And this is going to totally switch topics, but you still practice the public relations.
Yes. So when I'm not teaching yoga, I represent businesses in town. So one of my clients is an art dealer. Another one's a mortgage company. I had a lot of clients on my belt not too long ago that I was working with real estate, interior design. Now I've been doing a lot of, like I said, with the mortgage, the art dealer. I've been buying a lot more art. I've been investing more into art lately.
Yeah.
I've got my first Dali recently, so I'm really excited. I'm about to get that in frame. So I'm excited. I know. That was a long time coming.
Yeah.
A long time coming. I've been working with this client for like 3 years now. So it was something that's manifested, but it was softly, it came in.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. Looking forward to that piece. But I've been doing a lot of graphic design work. So I'm building logos for people, websites.
Very cool.
It's all over the place, but I don't tether myself to one form of art, creativity.
And that's creativity. You're
absolutely. It's that sacral chakra, like that's wide open.
Running a business is creativity, and doing healing is creativity, and believing in God, I believe also, or whatever, practicing
solar, that's solar plexus.
It's all creativity,
and crown all the way up.
Yeah.
Kundalini. I think the Kundalinis are wise. I really love what they're into when they talk about the root to crown. I really enjoy, there's a rabbi that's a Kabbalist that I enjoy listening to. Yeah. Like I said, you keep that channel open, but I let Christ know, hey, at the end of the day, you know I'm your girl.
Yeah.
You're my guy.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I don't look and listen at them all, he knows I'm not making any altars. He knows I'm not, I got my crystals all over my house.
Yeah.
I practice Reiki. I wear, interesting. I had on a bracelet. It must have broken. That's the third bracelet I've snapped in like a week.
You might not need it.
No, I don't. That's just, I agree with you. And wearing a lot and wearing certain ones, I go to the intention. I just wear the one.
Yeah.
And that particular one that I had on was a smoky quartz. And that was really
You might not need the protection right now.
No, yeah, that's actually, that's 100% accurate that you're saying that, because I mentioned an intelligent being earlier named Mir, and I've been waiting on an email from Mir, and she sent it right before we came in the door. And so for you to say I don't need that protection, I think you're right. I think there are, it's like the malas, when you hold those beads to pray, or when you hold a rosary to pray, you're using your thumb and your mind to go breath by breath, word by word, prayer by prayer. But if you just slow down and, go to your own beat, maybe just tap the one thumb, then you're right. You don't need all the things. You've got it already in you, kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just listen. For me, at least, I listen.
Oh, that's the 2024 goal for myself.
When I get quiet, I just try to listen. Like, I don't look for a download. I just try to get quiet and be present with myself. And if something comes, I'm super grateful. And if nothing comes, I know that's what was meant to be also at the same time.
Well, now when you say nothing, I do believe that, we're still children. And it's maybe that it wasn't nothing in that moment that you're sitting there, but what if something showed up to you later on?
Yes.
You were listening to something and a phrase came in and that connected to what you were saying earlier, or you've got a sign for something or someone, and then you're going along the highway and then there goes your sign.
Yeah.
And you're like, oranges.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a Laura Lynn Jackson fan. You read the book Signs, but
no, I haven't.
Tangerine oranges.
Yeah.
You have what you associate to something like, or someone, like a person, one of my neighbors. That's the hardest thing about living where we live. You make friends with elderly people.
Yeah.
And they pass away.
Yeah.
You get another angel on your team, like that's the bonus. But this one woman, she meant a lot to me, and she still does. She works on the other side, and she knows she does because I'm connected with her through a person I was referring to earlier.
Okay.
So I have a sign for this particular angel. So I know, like, when the left is speaking, I ask for the signs.
Okay.
It's like I told my children one day, I said, if I should pass, I'll leave you dimes. And I explained to them it was from a song, a Turtle song, if I should call you up, invest a dime. And it's a song I sing to my children at night. And it's a song that was sung to me and that I sang with my family. So they know if anything was to happen to me today in this moment, if I was to leave here and to get into an accident, that they would just be flooded with dimes.
That's so interesting that you say that. And I feel just aligned because my cousin, two of my cousins, they were younger, but their mother passed away and she leaves pennies.
Oh, yeah.
So anytime they need a sign, they find a penny pops up.
Oh,
they need
beautiful.
a message, or they need comfort, they need something, a penny pops up.
Oh.
And I've had experiences where I found pennies. And
that's for you, Mother. Yeah. She's on your team.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
So that's interesting that you say you're going to leave dimes. And
yeah.
So beautiful.
Messages are the most beautiful things. And
They're so crazy.
You gotta ask for them. You gotta ask for them. And when we get clearer in our heads, like when we drop the smoking or the drinking or the caffeine at a certain time of day. So when we're sleeping, when our subconscious is really working for us, if you get into reading about lucid dreaming and you really want to have fun in your you'll see all these signs, you'll see all these messages that your loved ones are giving you, that your guides are presenting to you. If you start getting into the Akashic records, what that realm above your crown chakra is trying to deliver to you. Between that and your soul star, it's really something, because there is a crown, from the crown of your head to the pineal gland to God, there's a thread, and that's why he says, be still and know, because what he's trying to do is drop that oil, that anointed oil that he talks about. That's what's the pineal gland, that's what's releasing. When the Kundalini's believe that the snake busts through the crown, it drops down that oil. That's the oil that Christ is talking about.
It's all connected.
It's all connected.
So cool.
God just wants you to know that you are tethered, know that you are frayed, but know not to be afraid of your fraying.
I think that maybe I don't have clarity with what God is, and I don't need to have clarity with what God is.
There you go.
I think it's fear, though.
Yeah, of course.
I think it's fear.
But that's
why I need to have clarity.
Well, because God's like, hey, child, do you really believe? Do you really? Go, okay, sacrifice your firstborn. Come on, come up to the table.
Yeah.
Sacrifice your child.
Yeah.
Oh, you're about to do it? Okay, then I guess you do believe. Test.
Yeah.
And some people are like, F the guy that tests me. I'm like, yeah, you're the child that never grew up.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like adults that yell, that throw fits. I'm like, oh, there's a little child in you.
It's not a hurt child or something.
But we all are hurt children.
Absolutely.
Every day.
Absolutely.
Every day. This is what the Buddhists taught. That I was like, yeah, I like it. They when you wake up, you take that breath, and you're like, I love you, God.
Yes.
And then you exhale and you think, that was a close one. I could have not been here today. breath or the death, the breath and the death.
I want to write that down. I'm going to share that.
Yeah.
What you just said.
No, what's better is
I
this quote
love
by
that.
Wayne Dyer. He says, he wakes up and he says, you can say, thank you, God, another morning. Or you can say, God, another morning.
Exactly.
Like, what do you want to choose?
And practice. I always practice. You know what got me out of my spiritual awakening, or whatever you want to call it?
Do tell.
I was in the hospital because I was having suicidal ideations, and I committed myself to the hospital because I didn't want to leave my daughter, and I felt that was the only outlet for me to get better and to heal. And it was before I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and I wasn't on the right medicine. I wasn't taking care of myself the right way. I didn't know because I didn't know. I didn't know how to because I didn't know I was bipolar.
Lots of women don't discover it till later.
Yes, it took me until I was 28. And I was in the hospital and I was laying in the bed and it was just quiet. And I was in the room by myself. And I was like, I just had this message to journal intentionally, and especially with gratitude. And to be grateful for everything that you have, because you're living this life and you have all these beautiful things and you don't even see them or hear them or feel them. And like, I just lay there, and it was a plastic bed because obviously you can't have metal or anything because it could hurt somebody. Really
right. Yeah.
And I had clothes on. I had to take all my strings out of my clothes. I had no sneakers on.
You were trusted.
Yeah. So I just lay there and I was like, you know what? I'm really grateful for this bed right now. It was the most comfortable bed that I could have asked for at that time.
Yeah.
And I was just really grateful for that bed. And then I thought, I'm really grateful that I can breathe right now. I'm really grateful that I'm actually alive. I'm grateful for the food that they're serving us. I'm grateful that I have someone that's protecting me and from myself right now. And many people and spirits that are protecting me from myself right now.
Yeah.
Because
you could have been somewhere else.
Yes.
You could have been with them.
Yeah. And I just had that down. And ever since then, I have been immensely grateful for every little thing. And I journal every day what I'm grateful for. And I write in the mornings and at night what I'm grateful for, and what I'm grateful for tomorrow, and what I'm grateful for in this moment, and what I'm grateful for my past or my future or whatever. But I practice so much gratitude constantly. And anytime I get down on myself or feel like I can't make it, I just think, sometimes I live in the funk for a minute.
Yeah, we all
live in the funk. But then what pulls me out always is gratitude.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, Callie, look at this.
Yeah. Which your gratitude is you're writing down your connection, your love, you're writing things, all the things that gratitude is the way the mind witnesses love unfolded for them.
Yeah.
They're like, this is the way that I'm loved back. And when you can realize that it's something just small and simple, like being able to go for a walk, being able to take that breath, it sometimes it takes a near-death experience, like getting hit by a bus or almost coming to your last choice.
Yeah. I just had this message that just came through. My life is literally a miracle. It's a moving miracle. Like, if I could express to you the shit that not me, that has come to my life and that has been manifested into my life, either by me or by others or whatever, it's just living in this house. Like, I literally had nowhere to go a month ago.
Oh, wow.
I had nowhere. I was staying with my parents in their tiny condo. Not that I'm so grateful that I had that, but I was in their space.
Yeah.
And I had nowhere to go and no options. And then all of a sudden this house just fell into my lap.
Did it fall into your lap? Or were you
I did the work to find it.
But see, that's God's making. Like, when you realize that, it's like people say, if you're looking for love, you're not going to find it. But the moment you stop looking for it,
there it comes. Yeah.
But the universe realized the moment that they realized, she's really grateful. Like this, she's not just like, listen to her, each emotion, like, and I do believe that, like, all your angels were around you and they felt you, and they were like, she's gonna do things, like, and not for herself, for the love of others, and it's always gonna be every day, loving others, and because of that, it'll come back to you. It's like when you're not looking to make money will be there for you.
Yes.
The opportunity will show up.
It will. I believe that. Yeah, it's just insane how much my life changed in just a month. Like, I had no intentions on moving to this area. My dad suggested it, and then a best friend suggested it. And I was so incredibly, I felt like I lost my hope again for a while. And I went back to, I'm bringing this up because I just went back to gratitude. And then I'm just feeling an immense amount of gratitude that we're in my house now filming this.
Yeah.
And
Look
I
at all
love this
this.
house, and it's gorgeous. And I have everything I could possibly ever need
Yeah.
in my life. And I'm just so grateful for it. I'm grateful for you for being here
Oh,
and just this conversation and everything. And I just
absolutely.
had an immense amount of gratitude that I felt right now. And I had to share it.
Yeah.
So,
And you know what's interesting is like where we met at Kapua, it's a place where communities, that's the one, I mean, there are kava bars and kratom places all over town, but that particular one has got a really great community there. A lot of the people, different areas of business and wellness and just interwoven lives. And that is the thing about our city, about Fort Myers, that Florida, that I absolutely love and chose, because I used to work in the music industry and I just saw Nashville getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was working for an incredible publicist, and I was just like, this is insane. It's gonna pop. And I was working in sales, and after that, making great money. But I had the worst acid reflux. I sound like a pubescent boy. And I was like, what is this for? What is this for?
yeah.
I was like, I got to get out of here. Moved to Orlando there for 2.5 years. Like, ew.
Yeah.
Came to Fort Myers, and I was like, wow.
This is so much more my pace than I lived in Bradenton, Sarasota.
Yeah, my parents are up in the Venice area,
Yeah.
and so I have family and friends in Sarasota. It's busy.
It's busy.
But here it's like there are innovators and thinkers. You go down a boulevard, there's palm trees. Like, it's just like you just know. And there's families that come back and generations here. And now you got these like retirees that bring their families back here. So it's a lot of like, it's a lot of love. There's a lot of love here. And I've Cape Coral's interesting though. This is an interesting little city too.
Yeah, it's cool. I like the downtown area. I haven't explored much. I've been
you should come to Thrive. Come to the yoga studio. Come explore the
going
downtown area. It's a lot of it's happening. There's a lot.
It's cute. It's so cute.
It's happening.
I drive through it on. I can go this way or that way.
Yeah.
To left or right to go to Kapua.
Yeah.
Or to go to Fort Myers in general. And I always go the way to drive through downtown because I just love the energy. And eventually I'd like to have a space there. Yeah. And I want to manifest it. And I feel like the more I'm there, the easier it'll be to manifest it. Yeah, but
that is very, very true. So I like not too long, probably about a couple of years ago, I decided bars I don't want to be around.
Yeah.
Music venues, only certain crowds, bands I used to follow, I don't follow anymore. Like energy. I don't say like time is money and my time is valuable and money is this. No, babe, your love and what you have to give is valuable, and your work feels very valuable. I lost weight when I wrote a certain person out of my life.
Yeah.
Somebody that was in my life for a long period of time. And once I wrote them out with forgiveness and peace and grace, and was just like realized that they were an energy that was drawing me down. But I did realize that like Caroline Mize says they were a contract that was in front of me. I just had to realize their archetype in mine. Mm-hmm. So you gotta really, you could be anywhere in the world practicing yoga, meditating, doing what you think is all the answers, but you'll always have that bit of darkness that questions you unless you just get to the center.
Yeah.
Unless you get like to the center of you and let it all go and just be about love.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. Cool. So I think we're coming up on an hour now, and I usually make them sometimes I go longer than an hour, but is there anything, and I could talk to you all day.
Oh yeah, like mine's.
But is there anything that I should have asked you or talked about that I didn't, that comes to mind with you?
Oh yeah. Actually, there's a really cool retreat coming up. The Soul Shine yoga retreat that I'm part of.
Is it SOL or SOUL?
Soul Shine, SOUL.
Okay.
Shine.
Perfect. Soul Shine retreat.
Yes. So this particular and like I said, you'll never know what happened. Did I ever think I'd be doing something like this when I was in yoga teacher training? I was like, well, possibility. But did I put it down like on a vision board and manifest it? No. I was like, oh, I want it to just come naturally.
Yeah.
So this retreat is the weekend of March 23rd. It's up in Punta Gorda. We've already got more than half people signed up for it. We're capping it at a certain amount.
Cool. Okay.
So yeah, so information on that, you can go to Eventbrite and find it there. But it's going to be really cool. There's going to be like sound bath, yoga, Reiki, readings. We have a Kundalini specialist coming in, a person that's a medium coming in, lots of really interesting things. And the event, the place where it's held is a sacred ground to myself, especially. And the lady that owns the land there, Jenny, is just an incredible soul.
Okay.
So
I love that.
It's very much on a place where it's where I did my Reiki training too. And it was interesting because driving upon it, I felt some really cool vibes. So it's not just like, some hotel.
Yeah.
or in a studio
or something. Yeah.
And to anybody that's here in like Lee or Collier County or up near Tampa, it's accessible to you too. So, but like I said, I think we've only got 6 more spots open.
Okay.
6 spots left.
And is this a weekend retreat or a day retreat?
It's a day, like it goes from the morning all the way to the evening,
cool.
Like a 9 to 5 kind of thing. And it's that Saturday and Sunday. We might still have hotel rooms blocking it. I think we're closing the event to people to buy it. Jean had said January 31st, but I was pushing Valentine's Day because, I'm a thing for love. So
gift yourself the gift of love.
Yeah, get yourself the gift of love. But you can message me on Instagram at Good With Yoga.
That's what I was going to ask you. I wanted to know your social media.
Yeah, Good With Yoga. Like I'm good with that. Good With Yoga.
On Instagram, do you have a website or?
Yeah, my website is more for my business, my PR business.
Okay.
So if you're looking for all things wellness, just hit me up through Insta.
Okay. And do you still take PR clients?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I do a lot of business development with people too.
So if people were, okay, cool. If people were looking for something like that, they could reach out to you too.
Yeah.
And they wanted more of a spiritual kind of in touch, in tune, guider, leader.
I love how you say in tune. I love tuning forks. Yes.
Yeah, me too. They could also work with you in that capacity.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, I love that. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Callie, for having me.
I love this. This is great. Thank you for being here with me today.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining us for another episode of Healing Whole, the podcast. We will check you out next time.